Hello, everybody. This is Bobby Pizazz, and you've reached Give Me a Break Radio here at WRFN, Radio Free Nashville, 107.1 LPFM on your radio dial. And I just want to tell you, here at Radio Free Nashville, we're about to go citywide here across Nashville. And, you know, it's going to reach all over the place. So we're still looking for donations. If you've got any donations you'd like to send, you can go to radiofreenashville.org. And there's a donation button up there. Jenny would be glad to take your money and put it towards this new wide signal that we're going to get for WRFN, and I can't wait. Finally, we'll be able to compete with the big boys and get the music right out to your radio stations, on your cars, on your little iPads, iPhones, telephones, whatever you happen to be using. I'd like to thank Dave Kimber, who provided the music, along with the Sydney Orchestra, and we want to welcome you to Give Me a Break Radio. We'll be right back, folks. Hello, everybody. This is Bobby Pizazz, and you've reached Gimme a Break Radio here at WRFN 107.1 LPFM on your radio dial here in Nashville, Tennessee. And I just want to remind everybody that we're still on a drive here in Nashville to get WRFN a clear signal that will get us out 50-mile radius of Nashville. And I can't wait. We can finally compete with the big boys. And I'll tell you, we'll get some of these artists out here that haven't been heard. And this particular show, I want to let you all know that we are going to have a new 2-hour show coming up in April. But the only way you're going to be able to be on that show is by subscription only. So you'll hear more about that later in this month. But that's for the Give Me a Break new show. It's going to be called Give Me a Break, Check This Out, or Check It Out. Give me a break, check it out. And we're going to bring you some of the new artists around town and from around the world that need a break, and that's what our plan is to do. And today is no different. His original music has been featured on over 1,000 radio stations around the world. As of March 2nd, 2014, his independent website has over 1 million views, and his YouTube channel has 675,000 views from his 350 songs. And his new CD, Beaches, Boats, and Babes, is Pat's 7th album. And Pat produced it, and Denny Parks, one of Nashville's most skilled studio multi-instrumentalists, helped him put this together. And I'll tell you, I had an opportunity to hear some of these tracks, and you're going to be just amazed. Pat Riley is with us today. Pat, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I have never been better. How you doing, Bobby?
Oh, man, what a day. We've been just busy all day, and now we get to take a break and have some fun. So I'm real excited about having you on. You have been one of the people, I don't have many in Nashville, but you have been one of the people in Nashville that I've taken, I've kind of been watching ever since I met you the first time at the Songwriters Festival, which I think is back in 2007, if I remember, or 2008, one of those years. But I've kind of taken a watch on you on Facebook. You're always posting some really unique things. You're a very concerned person. You're a humanitarian, and you care about your fellow man. And I'm telling you, your songs reflect that. And this particular CD seems to be more like party, festive, lighthearted, and yet there's a deep message in it as well. So before we tell us folks about that, I wonder if right out of the chute you'd pick a song for us so that we could play for the folks.
Sure. How about the song Flinking? F-L-I-N-K-I-N-G. Flinking.
All right. Well, folks, we're going to listen to Flinting, and we're going to be right back. More with Pat Riley. We're going to get into some of his history and find out what he's been all about. So we'll be right back.
I heard it from America's houseboat queen, sweetest sailor you ever seen. Sounds a little bit wacky and weird, but perfect for this time of year. Flinking, floating and drinking. YOLO, you only live once, so why don't we go flinking? Do it in the pool, lake, or the sea. River's fun too, naturally. Chilling in the water with the radio on. friends singing our favorite song. Flinking, floating and drinking. YOLO, you only live once, so why don't we go flinking? You're never too old, no. Water's never too cold, no. Oh no. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Woo. Take a sip of this homegrown brew. Since we're just a flinking, floating and drinking. YOLO, you only live once, so why don't we go flinking? Yeah, flinking. Come on, let me hear you say it. Flinking. Woo. Hey, check out that pontoon. Looks like the Redneck Yacht Club to me. I bet Jimmy Buffett's doing it right now. Yeah, and I did hear Kenny Chesney's bought the hat, t-shirt, sunglasses, and koozie. Yeah, buddy, it says flinking.
All right, folks. I like that, Pat. That's really interesting, man. It reminds me of Jimmy Buffett in a way. You know, it's got that Pacific Island feel to it, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hey, tell me, how'd you come about writing that? What inspired you to write that?
Oh, that's a crazy story, but I think you've hit the nail right on the head. It is kind of a Jimmy Buffett style groove there, but it's a simple production. It's kind of a low budget production, but it is a Jimmy Buffett groove. Let me tell you about what inspired that. I was talking to my boss at Houseboats by Terry, America's Houseboat Queen, and she said, "You ought to write a song about flinking." And I'm like, "What is flinking?" And she says, "Well, it's floating and drinking." And so she started telling me a little bit more about what it is, and I'm thinking, this is a good idea, Terry. Why don't I just start writing this phone conversation down? And I said, let me take a couple of notes here. Tell me more about, you only live once, or what did you say? And I took basically some of the words from our conversation on the phone and got off the phone and hung up, and an hour later I had written the song. So I'm pretty tickled because I think the song has a lot of potential.
Oh, I think it's great. I think I really like the use of the Hammond organ in it, and then I guess the congas and just the feel of it, you know. And it was a sparse production, and that doesn't take anything away from it, though. I mean, it stands on its own. I think it'd be a good song for the Pacific Rim, actually, you know. I mean, if you could get this to take off in the Pacific Rim, that is like the largest market in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It surely is. And we get out to Pacific Rim here on Give Me a Break Radio. We got people in the Philippines, people in all over the Pacific Rim that listen to us. So I bet you we'll get some feedback on that one. Pat, go ahead.
I hope so, because that song is for the world. It's not just for America. It's not just for people that enjoy being on the river or on the lake or on the ocean in a boat. It's for people all around the world, you know, and it has potential. I hope it reaches that potential. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think it will. I think if we just get it out there and people hear it, that's what I like about your stuff, you know. And I mean, I've heard your other stuff, your previous albums, a couple of them anyway. And you know what I find with you is that you're not just a typical writer. You come in with a different. How would I say this? You have your take on the world, and you convey it quite well, to the point that it relates to so many people. So I have to ask you, from a young child, what was your influences? When did you start music, and who was your influences as a young boy?
Well, I grew up in Michigan, and I know you're from Michigan too, so that's really cool. But I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan, and like a lot of the singer-songwriters here in Nashville, there's a connection to the church. My mom and my sister sang, and my sister played the guitar in a church, kind of a choir. And so I kind of was exposed to my parents singing and my sister playing the guitar and singing also in church. But it goes back farther than that. Up in northern Michigan, up in the Sault Ste. Marie area, the Upper Peninsula it's called, my Uncle Buck was a country boy, and he played the guitar and sang songs. And when we'd go up there over the Mackinac Bridge and such towards Canada, my Uncle Buck would sometimes get out on a stool. He'd probably have a beer or two next to him. But I remember as a little kid, maybe 7 years old, watching him play and sing. And that's where I think I first got exposed to music. And I think that has stuck in my brain somewhere. And it was a little seed that's been germinating for the last 30 years.
Isn't this funny? I listened to that because I had almost similar experience. It was my uncle Tom Gravel, though, who's since passed, and rest in peace. But the same thing. I watched Uncle Tom play. He had an ES 175 Gibson, and I sat on his lap at 5 years old and strummed across that thing, and I was hooked. I was just hooked. That was it. For me. But the interesting thing about you and I is that here we are. We run into each other down in Nashville. And our whole entire lives, we lived less than 50 miles from each other. Isn't that wild?
That's amazing. There's a lot of talent that comes from Michigan.
Oh, my gosh, especially the Flint area, the Birch Run area, and Saginaw area with all the General Motors shops. Hell, we had some of the best musicians in the world come there and move there just to be, they'd work at the auto plants just so they'd have enough money and time to pursue their careers. And so many great artists have come out of there. Gosh. In Saginaw, Michigan, you got Dick Wagner. I think Dick Wagner's from up in that area somewhere. Got a whole bunch of people up in there. Madonna, for instance, out of Bay City, which was right across and then, Grand Funk Railroad came out of there. Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes came out of there. Frigid Pink, Dick Wagner and the Frost, Alice Cooper. I can just go on and on of the different bands. MC5, just so many great artists came out of Michigan, and I think it's because it was a hodgepodge. And not just rock artists and pop artists, because back then there wasn't really pop, but then you had Motown, which had to be, look what Motown did to the world, man. It pretty much changed the map and broadened music in such a way that it affected all genres. That Motown beats even in country music now. It's amazing.
That's right. But, even though Michigan has birthed a lot of talent, the whole world is full of talent. And I know we have listeners, or you have listeners, rather, all around the world. And I know that talent just does not live here in Tennessee or the United States. It's everywhere. It's over in Germany. It's in Japan. It's in Canada. It's in South America. It's all over. And I love hearing it.
You know what gets me is the music business, the way it sets today, Pat. And just on that note, think about this. The music business, the way it is, I think the CEOs of Sony and Warner Brothers and all you big CEOs, y'all missing it. You're making your money off a few artists, but the world is full of talent that if you had the same thing as The Voice has in radio, if we had a voice program that explored talent from all over the world like The Voice does, or like America's Got Talent or some of these other television, if we had that same thing in radio and allowed the independents to get the exposure, if major radio did that, their whole format would change. And I told the CEO this one time, a guy that he worked for Cumulus, and he said, you're right. He says, he said there was a law in the books that 10% of radio airplay is supposed to belong to the independent radio artists, but that's not being done. They don't do it. So I've got a couple of hound dogs looking for that law that's been buried so quickly, but I think it was in 2007 that it was passed, or 2006, somewhere in those years. 2007, I think, that they actually passed a law, and they said that 10% of all radio airplay from major radios has to be given to the independent artists. Well, just think if they played 50-50. We play the major radios, and then we give the world a chance to hear all this other unheard talent. It would change radio format, and people would start tuning back into radio. Right now, they hear the same 20 songs over and over, and they're bored with it, and they move on.
I'm bored with it. I don't even listen to the crap. The only thing I listen to is WSM radio, the Grand Ole Opry station, and occasionally I listen to a mainstream country station or some classical stuff. But I prefer talk radio now. I don't even listen to that stuff anymore. I mean, there's a lot of great songs. Don't get me wrong, but I just like the old school stuff myself. And I tune into WSM.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm at, too. I feel that I think a lot of the artisticness of music, the actual art of it, has been, there's still great songs. You're absolutely right. They're out there, and they come out, and I hear them. But I heard Rihanna had a video out, and they talked about what it cost to put out her one pop record, and they spent $1,078,000 just bringing it to production to where it could even be played on the radio, and then they got to pay all that money to get promoted and playing on radio. So you got $2-3 million in a single being released on pop radio. Well, an independent can't even compete with that, and so that's kind of what you're up against. And they say, well, this is the real music business. There's the real music business, and there's the pretend music business, is how they refer to us. We're in the pretend music business. But I don't think it's pretend. I think there's just as much talent no matter where you go, like you said. I mean, you've been a lot of places, and I'm like you. I've been a lot of different places. I sat in a mountain with a guy from Germany, and it was really interesting. We were up in Pueblo, Colorado, up in the mountains there, and he pulls out his Martin guitar. It was almost identical to my Martin that I was hitchhiking through with. We sat down and started playing. This guy was playing almost near chords the same as I, and he was speaking German, and I'm speaking English, and yet we could communicate, and we had a ball that night, and we had a whole bunch of people come and sit and listen to us play. It was really fun. But let me ask you this, Pat. What's your take on the music business for us independent artists? Because from what I can understand, if you're getting the majority of people are streaming their music, and you're getting paid 0.0017 cents, is it, or something like that, or 0.00? I forget what it is, but it's nothing. It's a fraction of a penny for each airplay. So if you get 1 million airplays, you're going to make what, $16 maybe? Where if you were on a major label and you had 1 million airplays, you'd be double platinum. So
that's right.
So tell me about that. What's your take on what they're doing, and who the heck set that rate anyway?
I have no idea. I don't follow it that much. I just think it's a crime that there's so much talent in the world, and so little of it gets played on the radio. Like you said, there's 100 songs in rotation, and they just get played 2 or 3 times a day, or 4 or 5 times a day. And that's it. When there's tons and tons of talent, and like the little spot you told me about, you and the guy from Germany playing. If that was on the radio, that's cool. That's real. That's not this stuff that's been beefed up with 300 tracks. That's just you and some guy and a couple guitars, but that's beautiful stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's that real live thing. I think if radio would take TV's example, and if radio had the real format, like maybe 4 hours a day they play real, they find talent. Just in Nashville alone, there are literally thousands of great artists that were here and have been spent here. My friend Rogie Ray Lamonte out there, who's just been around this city for years, and yet radio hasn't really embraced all of his music, And he wrote, I think, Murdered for Love or Murdered by Love, and so many hits and songs that he's wrote over the years. And there are just so many people that are like that here in Nashville that never get a chance or get a shot. And if radio would embrace that, and you CEOs that listen to my show, listen to me now, because if you guys would embrace the market of talent that's here, just in Nashville alone, and you take New York, L.A., Miami, Minneapolis, some of the meccas around, and you start gleaning the talent that's there, that's been cemented all these years, and start giving that exposure. I think you're going to turn radio around, and people will start tuning in again. But
I think so. It's always changing, and since you brought this up, I'm a fan of yours too. I think you're an excellent radio host. You've got a great voice for it. You've got a great history. You know the history here in Nashville and of music in general. You're a skilled, seasoned performer yourself. You know how to question and interact with people when they start talking about songs and just music in general. And so, for all the people out there in the world that want to hear more independent music, this is a perfect time to help fuel that flame. And, Bobby operating here is on a shoestring. I mean, literally a shoestring. And it would be nice if he could get a check or, a little PayPal, $10 from somebody around the world, whether it's in California or, South America, or like I said, overseas somewhere in Germany. If you got $10, $100, $1,000, you want to get your business on Give Me a Break radio show, I'm sure Bobby would be happy to talk to you, and he'll promote your business. If you're a builder, if you're a jewelry maker, if you're a songwriter, if you build guitars, whatever it is, Bobby can help you, and you can help him, and you can help the whole world.
Yeah, I think I really appreciate you saying that, Pat. I feel a little bit humbled here that you said that because I didn't expect you to. But it would help. It would really help if we could get people out there. And I think that's what we're going to do with the 2-hour show. We're going to make that pretty much a subscription show. And people are going to have to, it ain't going to be nominal fee, actually. It isn't going to cost them much. But at the same time, for all you people out there that are looking for global exposure, we do get out there a ways. I mean, we had, I think, about 6.2 million people listen to our show last year, and that's not bad for a little independent radio show, I'll tell you that. And Give Me a Break Radio here on WRFN is, of course, a nonprofit, so we can't really accept donations for that, but the station can accept donations on WRFN. But on our 2-hour radio show that's going to be coming up starting in April, we're going to accept worldwide sponsors on Give Me a Break Radio, and I'm kind of listening to a couple of my friends to see if they'll help me do this, and if they do, we'll have segments from them, and I'm not going to mention their names, but I've talked to them here this morning, and if they so choose to do that, we'll have a little segment from them every day, and we're going to have Blog Talk Radio, and we're going to have a new segment within our 2-hour show that's going to be called for this half-hour segment or 45-minute segment, whatever it turns out to be. It'll be called Give Me a Break, Check It Out, and that'll be a new artist, just like we're giving Pat a break today. We're letting you check out Pat's music, and speaking of Pat's music, Pat, why don't you give us something else to play for these folks, and we'll give them some more music, and we'll come back and chat some more.
Okay, how about Head Above Water, Keeping My Head Above Water. You got that one?
Yeah, I sure do. Let's listen to that, and we'll be right back.
The water's deep, current's strong. I've been paddling all day long, but I'm not giving up, I'm not giving in. I just keep on swimming to keep my head above water, keeping my head above the sea, doing all I can. Sometimes it feels like I'm drowning on dry land. I'm keeping the faith, I make it to shore. It's what I'm heading for. Like it or not, it's all I got. I just keep on kicking to keep my head above water, keeping my head above the feels like I'm drowning on dry land. You know I'm not getting ahead, but I ain't going under. It's no wonder I'm working as hard as I can. Ooh, keep my head above water, keeping my head above the sea, doing all I can. Sometimes it feels like I'm drowning on dry land. You know I'm not getting ahead, but I ain't going under. It's no wonder I'm working as hard as I can. Ooh, to keep my head above water, keep my head above the sea, doing all I can. Oh God, I think I'm dreaming of drowning on dry land.
All right, man. What a great song. I bet you many people can relate to that one, Pat. I'm telling you, especially since the 1% controls the bulk of the wealth of the world, and the rest of us are down here scrounging about the 99 percenters, they call us. But anyway, so tell me about that one. When did you write that?
Boy, I wrote that here in my cabin by Center Hill Lake in the woods, up in the middle of nowhere. It just comes through. You know, I wake up sometimes and I grab the guitar when I feel like it, and I just start playing, and things just happen, and it just created itself. I don't know. I try to get out of the way, you know, and just let it come through me. There was no real story. I didn't almost drown or anything like that, but I just thought it was a catchy idea. I did hear the line drowning on dry land before somewhere, and I always thought, wow, that's a powerful line, and so I kind of threw that as part of the song, and I'm hoping some monster artist records that song, because I think it can compete with any song in the world.
It sure can relate to so many people in all countries of the world, because in so many places of the world, people are in fact drowning on dry land right now.
They are. It's rough out there.
Yeah, it is. It sure is.
And it could get a lot rougher, but I'd rather not dwell on the negative right here, because we have such an opportunity to touch so many people.
Yeah, I think that's the whole idea of this show, is that we want to kind of reach out to people and let them know that there's other talent out here, number one. Number two, we're giving people an opportunity like yourself to tell your story and to relate to other people that are in near the same conditions or same situations all around the world. And we see it everywhere. We see it everywhere. And I don't understand how it is that we can all be made of the same stuff, yet because of the money game, the way it's played, those that have and those that don't have, the ones that have think they're so much better than the ones that don't have. And it's just it's an imbalance in society globally right now.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I watch videos and you know, news programs, all different kinds of news programs. You know, I try to balance my intake of material. I try to stay out of the mainstream media too much, because it's just, you know, it's basically an extension of the 1%, and you know, it gets really old really quick. So I try to turn the channel, just like I do on the radio. When I hear mainstream music, I kind of turn the channel, because it's basically the same programming.
Yeah, it is the same programming. If you listen to the lyrics, the only thing they're allowing, the things that they allow through on major radio, if you got a beer and you own a truck and you got a girl on your arm, or at least in country, well, then you're doing okay, and you should just be happy and thankful and stay in your place. And if that ain't, to me, that's programming. That's programming people to believe that they're where they're supposed to be. When in actuality, it's some bigwigs up there deciding what kind of thought patterns are going to be allowed to be aired on USA Radio and World Radio when it comes to the majors anyway. There's a certain formula that they're using to write to make people feel good about where they're at so that nobody rocks the boat too much, you know?
Yeah. Just so they can be smart enough to run the machines and to dumb enough to keep working at the same job. As long as they make enough to buy a hamburger and a TV and a roof over their head, people seem to be happy. But I'm here to tell you that there's so much more, and everybody has so much talent. It's unbelievable. This planet is buzzing, and I mean buzzing with light and energy and talent and magic and miracles. It boggles my mind, and I'd love to see more of that out in the world. And thanks to you and your show, it can happen, and it is happening slowly, but hopefully we need to pick up the pace, you know.
Yeah, I'm hoping that more and more radio stations, I know there's a few out there. I've got a friend, Patty Patrick, over there in Switzerland. She carries our show. In Austria, actually. Patty Patrick, how you doing? And thank you for giving me a break over there. She carries our 2-hour show when we come back on air in, I think it's April, the first week of April. I don't know the date. I don't have it in front of me yet. But that's going to be our first 2-hour show that we put out independently of WRFN. And so you guys want to stay tuned for that and keep watching my Facebook up there, or watch on Twitter or whatever, and we'll keep you informed on what's going to go on. And we put some surprises together for this new show, and you're going to want to check it out, because I think we're going to change the way people think about some stuff, and that's kind of a good thing, I think. But you know, Pat, what I've got 31. We're at 31 minutes in this hour right now, and so I'm wondering if we might move on to another one of your songs and go ahead and pick one and tell me a little about it.
Okay. Let's go with the song "Let Me See." Can you cue that one up instead of "Living Large"? Let's bypass that, because we've been talking about that kind of concept in the last 5 minutes, and I'd rather jump to something a little bit more creative and different. And "Let Me See" would be that song. Can you bring that up?
Sure can. We're going to listen to this, folks, and we'll be right back.
I feel like a fish out of water, a bird with broken wings, a midnight sky without stars, like a song nobody sings. I've been away too long, living in the mountains, longing to be by the sea. So let me see the ocean, islands, let me see blue water, let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see the oceans, the islands now. La da da. I feel like a drunk without a drink, a bullet with no gun, a lonely man without a woman, a sandy beach missing the sun. I've been away too long, living in the desert, longing to be by the sea. So let me see the ocean, islands, let me see blue water, let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see the oceans, the islands now. I miss that salty air, surfing perfect waves, the warm sand between my toes, hanging out in tropical clothes. So let me see ocean, islands, let me see blue water, let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see the ocean, the islands now. La la la.
All right, folks, there's a little bit of Pat Riley, Let Me See. And we're back here on WRFN 107.1, Radio Free Nashville. And my name is Bobby Pizazz, and you're reaching the second half of this first hour here. And, this is going to be the 1 hour show this week. Next April, starting in April, our 2 hour show is coming. Keep that in mind. Pat, I want to tell you, this song here really took me by surprise. I love the steel guitar in it and the simplicity of it and the lyric. My gosh, great tune, buddy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I wrote that song a year ago, a little over a year ago, when I went to visit my mother in Southern California. I just got back from there. In the winter, I go there for a month and a half or so. But I wrote that the last time I went to Southern California, and it just popped out of nowhere like a rabbit, coming out of a hat. You mentioned the steel guitar. It's I want to make a plug for that steel guitar player. He's one of Nashville's greatest. He's a regular on the Grand Ole Opry. He plays with Marty Stewart. His name is Gary Carter.
That was Gary Carter?
Yeah, brother.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, great player. Great player.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's a great guy, and I've worked with him on several albums. And he was the link. Getting me here to Nashville in terms of recording, and we've worked on 3 albums together.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got such a feel to it. I mean, it's almost country, but it's almost, I would call it almost Pacific. It's got that Pacific Island feel to it. It's got an Americana kind of a lyric to it. And it's like a hodgepodge of genres in one little ditty there. I love it.
I like to think of it almost, I know it is kind of a hodgepodge, but that let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see. I hear a James Taylor coming through there, loud and clear.
Yeah, I mean, you could put it on, I think you could put it on just about any radio station, actually, if the format people out there were not such sticklers about putting things in mud, but the bottom line is that music that's good, it's good. It doesn't matter what genre it is. If it's good, it's good, and that's good. It's got a message. It conveys your heart. And I know you love the sea, and I know you love sailing, and it sure comes across in that tune. And but boy, nice little ditty there. You wrote that while you're visiting your mom, huh?
Yeah, just like I said, the songs they just happen. I don't even know how they happen, and it's like magic, but it's a spiritual thing. It's almost like they're my children. I don't have any kids, and these, like. Babies come into this world somehow, through the little jiggy, but songs they are born too, and something magical happens with me in the world, and they just present themselves, and I just write them. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, those are the best kind, the kinds that just come out like that. You had a friend of yours on here not too long ago, Don Mueller, the Grand Poobah, and he said the same thing. He said the best ones, they just kind of come out like that, you know? And it's not like you sit down and laboriously labor over it for a year or whatever. They're there. They just kind of flow through you. And you're pretty good at just reaching up in the river of songs and pulling them out, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not as good as you are, because I've seen...
No, don't say that now. You are.
I have seen you live in my living room magically create on the spot and record. And as a matter of fact, that performance is on my YouTube channel, speaking of social media.
Well,
and,
you put that up there, huh?
Bobby creating on my ukulele there. What's the name of that song, Bobby?
Yeah, that was a fun little thing you got there. I like that thing, man. I want to get one of those, actually.
Hey, what about that one song, the girl in the South, you know, that drives the John Deere tractor or whatever?
Oh yeah, yeah, that one. What's it called? Southern Belle, I think it is. Yeah,
that's a great song. That's a great swinging big band jazz song.
Yeah, I'm going to record that. I haven't played that one for my producer yet. I can't wait till I do. Rogie Ray Lamonte helped me write that. You know, Pooba's friend? And, yeah, Rogie, man, Rogie and I wrote that, the line for it, and the start of it back in 1986, if you can believe that, or 87, one of those years in there. It might have been 88, I don't know. But it'd been a long time ago. We sat down in some friend's living room, and we was up late one night, and he came up with this idea, I don't need me no sophisticated lady. And by God, the whole thing came out of that, you know. And so, Rogie Ray Lamontagne, if you're listening to me, thank you so much. We got to record that one of these days. I kind of made a small little recording of it at your house, but I mean, I'd like to do a full blown big band thing. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it's an awesome song. There's so many great songs.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that I was talking to my producer about earlier today. He said, people today, when you pitch a record, and for you artists out there, or you aspiring songwriters, you might want to pay attention to this. He said, when you pitch a song today, he says, they're looking for one or two songs. They're looking for something that fits, especially movie people are looking for something that just fits right in there. They don't want to go back in the studio and record it and all this other stuff. They want something that'll just meet what they need. And they look at your stuff and they'll listen to one or two. And if it's got it, they'll just take it and use it. If it don't, there's 1,000 other songs right in line that they'll take. So if you give them something that ain't up to snuff and it ain't up to par, you're just wasting your time because you're going to close doors that you want to keep open. That's just a little note for you people out there that are listening, that are songwriters and wanting to get cuts, both on television and on movies. And, I've got a good friend up there, Lonnie Ray. Hi, Lonnie. How you doing? He just recently had a cut on Dexter, and he's got one coming out in a movie. I think it was called 50 to 1 that just got released. And he had one, and it just happened to fit what they have. And a song like that, it just might fit. And this one here, Let Me See, it just might fit in some of these movies being made because it's that much different, It's got and that's where I'd pitch that. I'd pitch that to the movie people. I really would. If
any movie people are out there in the world, all around the beautiful blue marble listening right now, and you're involved in movie making, or you're a movie director, or you have kids or relatives or neighbors or friends, somebody that's in the business, and you're looking for songs, well, we've got them. I've got them. And Bobby has connections, and Bobby has songs as well, and we'd love to submit songs for possibly being selected for that show or your radio station or whatever. And let me just make another little plug for you, Bobby, because you're doing such a great job and you need as much attention as anybody. If there's anybody out there, I imagine Bobby would love to hear from you. If you are a singer, a songwriter, and you want to get your music out to the world, Bobby is a good connection. You can contact him, and you guys might be able to put together a show featuring your music. Is that true, Bobby? Yeah,
that's pretty much how it works. So they can send an email to Bobby Pizazz at BobbyPizazz.com. And it's just BOBBY PIZAZZ, Bobby Pizazz at bobbypizazz.com. And if they'll do that and send me their, just send me an email. Do not send me MP3s, because I expect people to send me CDs or flash drives. If you're coming from anywhere in the United States or from around the world, I need a CD or a flash drive. And if you're going to mail it for the 1 hour show, you can mail it to Give Me a Break Radio, care of WRFN 107.1 Radio Free Nashville. The address is 8920 Griffith Road, Griffith, Griffith Road, Nashville, Tennessee, 37221. So that again, it's Give Me a Break Radio, care of Radio Free Nashville at 8920 Griffith Road, Nashville, Tennessee, 37221. So if you want to send us in a CD or a flash drive, we'll accept those. Make sure your flash drives are clean when you send them. If we pull it up and we get a pop-up, your flash drive goes in the trash, okay? So make sure it's clean. And then if you've got a CD, send that. And if you're going to send me a flash drive or a CD, send me a bio and a picture, and send me your CD or flash drive, all in one envelope, addressed to Give Me a Break Radio, care of Radio Free Nashville, 8920 Griffith Road, Nashville, Tennessee, 37221. Okay, that's enough of me. Now back to you. You've got a whole bunch of songs here. We're at 45 minutes into this hour, so can you pick us another one, Pat, and we'll talk a little bit about that and play it for the folks.
Okay. We can jump from my latest album, which is a double album. It's called Boats, Beaches, and Babes. Boats, Beaches, and Babes. And Island Mountain Pat is my name that I'm also known as. So it's Pat Riley, a.k.a. Island Mountain Pat. If you're searching for my music online or on Google or some search engine, you can use either name, Island Mountain Pat or Pat Riley, Boats, Beaches, and Babes, and that album will come up. It's on iTunes, Amazon, etc. And all my other albums are there, too. The Key of C, it's a tropical, kind of a Latin, easy listening album, and I've got another alternative pop rock album, which is called Someday Sunday. You'll find that online. And I have another album called Best of My Life. It's online, too. They're all out there. Another one called Country Living. And if people want to, hook up with me, I got 400-plus songs on YouTube. I'm all over Facebook. Friend me, and I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, let's get back to the songs. Okay.
But before you do that, why don't you tell the people how they can get a hold of you? Give them your website and your email or whatever you want to give them if they want to get in touch with you. And they can get it on, you're on CD Babies, you're on iTunes, you're on all those different places. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. I just pitched music. I know Pandora doesn't pay much, but hopefully they'll pick up my music, Pandora, and I'll get some, more exposure. But you can contact me or go to my website at patriley.com. It's PATRILEY with an S on the end. So it's patriley's.com or islandmountainpat.com. Just how it sounds, Island Mountain Pat, all one word, .com. And there you'll have access to my YouTube channel and my Facebook links and all of that.
Well, that's
I'd love to hear from anyone that's in the business. If you have a radio station, you're in the movie business, whatever. If you want to purchase an album or want an autographed copy, whatever. If you want to do an interview, hook me up. Give me a call.
There you go. Well, we'll go ahead and pick your other song, and let's give another song for the folks. We got time for about 2 more songs, and or maybe 3. We can get 3 in. We got about 10 minutes left. So go ahead and pick a song, and we'll move on.
Okay. Can we jump to another album where I've included Time, the song Time, on the Someday Sunday album?
Sure can. Let's listen to that, folks. We'll be right back.
Some days time will pass like sand through an hourglass. Somehow time ticks on by. Somehow time can manage to control our lives, things we do. Some days it can make us say, come on now, let's go. Let's be moving on. It's time to change. Rearrange things, keep us free from holding on. Some days time flies when you'd want it to last. 'Cause somehow time ticks on by. But you know when it's on your side, when it makes you realize there's no time after goodbyes. Come on now, let's go. Let's be moving on. It's time to change. Rearrange things, keep us free, holding on. Take us where we belong. Oh, let's go. Let's be moving on. It's time we change. Rearrange things, keep us free, holding on. Teach us to be strong. Take us where we belong.
Very nice, Pat. Very nice. Nice vocals. Really nice vocals, you know. And I wanted to tell you that because you've got some really nice vocals, you know. And I was just wondering, Pat, how long you been singing?
Boy, I was listening to records when I was about 7 years old, 8 years old, to the point of being sound asleep as just a little toddler. I'd sleep and listen to songs on the record player, and I was singing along back then. But I really got started more formally in junior high school. I took a guitar class, and there was 50 kids in this room all learning to play the guitar in junior high school. I was in the 6th grade or something. And then we'd work on a few songs, and maybe 4 or 5, and then we'd have a concert for all the school. All of us with guitars would get out there, and sometimes the songs would feature a singer, and I happened to be one of those singers.
Cool. Yeah, it's about like me. I think I started really playing when I was probably about that age. I started singing, and then the same with playing. My dad played, so I started near about the same time you did, actually, and I've just been doing it my whole life. You know, it's what I do. Let me ask you, we got time for, I want to get another one of your songs in here, and so if you'll pick another one, we'll play another song for the folks, and then we'll come back and wrap this thing up.
Well, how about, can we go to another album? It's called The Key of C, and it's a beautiful song. I actually won a kind of a competition with this song. It's called Moon is Over the Rainbow, and I wrote it out here by Center Hill Lake about 4 or 5 years ago in an old cabin I was renting. It's called Moon is Over the Rainbow. Can we give that a spin?
Sure, you sure can. We're going to listen to this, folks. We'll be right back.
Moon is over the rainbow. This is true. Leaves are changing colors, flowers too. Moon is over the rainbow, but I'm not over you. Yes, the moon is over the rainbow. The sun's peeking through. Clouds are drifting past, sprinkling dew. Moon is over the rainbow, but I'm still not over you. And I know there's a world between us. Hey, I feel the changes coming on, but now and then I remember you with me, calling out my name under all my covers, driving you insane. Oh yeah. There's a moon and a rainbow. This is true. And the sky's changing colors. What a view. The moon is over the rainbow, but I'm still not over you. Still not over you. Still not over you, over you.
Ah, yeah. Now that's kind of my tune right there, buddy. I love it. You know? Hey, listen. Go ahead.
I know you can tear up a song like that. I've heard you sing, and you have chops, man. You can sing like a bird times 22. There's nobody that can get close to you when you get a hold of a song, especially at that kind of style. And boy, well, I'm telling you, folks out there in the world, Bobby can sing and he can play like no one. He's awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. Listen, that's going to wrap our show. We've had Pat Riley, and you can look him up at patriley.com or islandmountainpat.com, and you can find his music up there. Pat, thank you for being with us today on Give Me a Break Radio. That's going to wrap our show, and folks, we'll see you all next week. Say goodbye, Pat.
Goodbye, everyone. Love you.
Love you all. See you next week. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody. We'd like to welcome our new sponsor, DamnGoodTunes.com. That's right. DamnGoodTunes.com is an online magazine, one of the largest virtual magazines on the net. So check them out. Check out the Nashville section for your senior editor there, James Dean Fisher. So Give it a listen, folks. Go on up there and check them out. And thank you for being a new sponsor for Give Me a Break Radio.
Hi, this is Pat Riley, otherwise known as Island Mountain Pat. You're listening to Radio Free Nashville.
Thank you for joining us here on Give Me a Break Radio. We'll see you all next week.